Spontaneity is one of them. Yesterday, I reached out to many Vaishnavas. I had a trip, and I guess like most of us do, we were longing for connection. So I spoke to Bhim Prabhu and Adi Purusha and many other devotees, and they really encouraged me to take more to my practice by being exemplary. Adi Purush was doing his 2 hours of straight japa, and Bhim Prabhu was really speaking about the importance of supporting preaching. So it's very uplifting. So maybe I shall open something for some inspiration, since I'll just open the Bhagavad Gita and see what comes here. Because otherwise it's more like the afterglow, right? So a person is said, this is Bhagavad Gita 9, text 9, chapter 6. And my husband last night was just saying how much chapter 6 is his favorite, because he was saying the reason that it was his favorite was that Krishna accepts everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. I think that's an Ananda Bihari quote there. So here we go. This is text 9. A person is said to be still further advanced when he regards all, the honest, well-wisher, friends and enemies, the envious, the pious, the sinner, and those who are indifferent and impartial with equal mind. Text 10. A transcendentalist should always try to concentrate his mind on the Supreme Self. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. So I was talking to another devotee on my ride to visit my son, who is really missing home. He went off to college, and I don't know, maybe it's just shocking to be in a different sphere and give up everything. But yeah, I was talking about our cow sanctuary, and this devotee, his name is Janani Vas, he was lecturing me that I'm too detached from money. And that actually I need to have money to support these cows. So yeah, it's not that we think that it's ours. Here, a transcendentalist should always try to concentrate his mind on the Supreme Self. He should live alone in a secluded place and always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. So I think this here has gotten very much drilled into me as a devotee.
That secluded place part, can you elaborate on this? What does it mean? Is it Bhajananandi? Srila Prabhupada says we're not Bhajananandis.
No. Well, this is Krishna. That's why Arjuna then asks more questions. Like, you always ask questions, which is very inspiring. Yeah. What could the secluded place be? Well, where Krishna is, Prabhupada does go on to speak about this in the purport. It's about really being attached to Krishna. So he says that when one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relationship to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not completely in his renunciation. So even the place, I would assume that, if you're really trying to be alone, I think people really do feel alone a lot of the time, even when they're not, because of this disconnection from Krishna. So a Krishna conscious person well knows that everything belongs to Krishna, and thus he is always free from feelings of personal possession. As such, there's no hankering for anything on his own personal account. So, Ananda Bihari, did you find your speaker?
What's her name? Amrita Kishori says she needs 5 more minutes. She's coming. She's coming. Thank you, Krishna Kumari. I wanted to ask.
Let Krishna Kumari keep speaking.
I know, right?
Get out the Bhagavatam.
She's natural.
She's a natural for sure.
Yeah. Adipusha Prabhu, why do you live in Manhattan? Why not a secluded place? Why Manhattan? Why am I living in Manhattan? Let's see.
You hear me?
Yeah.
We are homeless, which means we're at home anywhere. And we are willing to go anywhere, travel. We spent many years not even sleeping in the same place 2 days in a row, at least 11 years traveling in this country. But for the last 27 years, Prabhupada Dash has been Radha Muralidhar, lotus feet. So we're satisfied to travel or not travel. We're satisfied to live in the forest, or like Prahlad Maharaj says, many people, they want to go to the mountains or to the cave somewhere. But as for me, I feel like Krishna's calling me to care for the fools and rascals who have a great need to hear about Krishna. Fools and rascals. We are surrounded with opportunities to share Krishna consciousness constantly. Constantly. It's wonderful. Fools and rascals.
I'd like to say that I'm one of those fools and rascals who was saved by Adi from the city to the country. So he's willing to reach out to distant towns and villages if he needs to. He's going to Boston to reach out to
Yeah.
little Bean Town.
Thank you.
Haribol,
Thank
this
you
is
very much.
Saurabh. If I can
Saurabh.
say something, please, with your
Sure.
permission. Lots of love and respect to everyone. I wanted to add my wife, when she's watching the Bhagavatam class in the background when I'm watching it, she's often telling me, she's like, I like that person the most that's in the temple, and she's pointing to Adipur, Sri Adipur, and she's like, he's so sincere. Look at him. Like, I like him.
Yeah.
I think she exactly says, I love him. Like, look at him. He's so sincere. So I thought it was the appropriate time to say that.
You're repeating what we heard from Srila Prabhupada. So what she likes is Krishna consciousness. And by Prabhupada's grace, we're able to pass on. We are the messenger, like the mailman bringing a check for $1 million. I didn't write the check, but I'm trying to deliver it without any distortion or inappropriate motivation. So she's attracted to whatever shred of Krishna consciousness we're able to share, right? All glories to Prabhupada. Whatever.
I wanted to answer Garangi's question. Why she's in New York? It's because Ram Roy won't let your father and mother leave. He wants them to be supporting the Harinam. I heard him personally say that they had to stay in New York. And I said, well, then you have to promise you pray for Garangi. to Ram Roy.
Thank you.
I miss you. Have a great day at school.
Thank you. Thank
First days.
you. Yep.
Just like horrible.
It's horrible, she says, but with your blessings, it'll be all right. Thank you. Acyuta Gopi Devi is here in the
Oh,
assembly. Let's turn the floor over to her. Acyuta Gopi, thank you very much. Are you in the airport somewhere? I'm picturing Srila Prabhupada taking shower in the airport bathroom.
Ew.
That pastime. Thank you, Acyuta Gopi, for joining while traveling, making the time to glorify Krishna and Ekadashi Devi. Thank you very much.
Jai, actually, I'm home for a brief moment in time. And just got back a few days ago, and then I leave in a few more days, and then I come back, and then I'm gone again. We're just back for a few days. And interestingly enough, I had to scramble because as of yesterday and earlier today, ISKCON Desire Tree, the website was fine. And then all of a sudden, I go to log in to get the Ekadashi pastime again, and ISKCON Desire Tree is down. So I had to scramble to make sure that I had my backup resource for the Ekadashi Glories and Ekadashi Mahatmya. So I feel like it's incredibly important. So today is a wonderful, exciting Ekadashi, one where Krishna once again is asking us, how much do we really want it? So, without any more further ado, Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adigaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So this Ekadashi is called Parivartini Ekadashi. And also, we are observing a fast until noon for the appearance of Lord Vamandev, which is tomorrow, Vamandwadasi, which I love to reflect on as the day where it is told without doubt that short people can do anything. And as a resident short person, I really love this pastime. And I feel as though
Great start. Great start, Acyuta Gopi.
short people can do anything. And everybody knows that Srila Prabhupada, his emotional, spiritual stature was huge and majestic. His physical stature, not so tall. And whenever I go to places like New Vrindavan, or even in Vrindavan, Radha Damodar Mandir, and you see the doors that were custom made for Srila Prabhupada, they're not very big, but it's proof that there is no physical limitation on what can be done when we somehow yearn to come in contact with Krishna's supreme, wonderful effulgence. So this is the glories of Parshva Ekadashi. Sri Yudhisthira Maharaj asked of Lord Shri Krishna, what is the name of that Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight Shukla Paksh of the month of Bhadrapad, August-September, Rishikesh Mase? Who is the worshipable deity for this Ekadashi? And what merit does one attain in observing it? Kindly reveal all of this to me, my Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, addressed his devoted Yudhisthira as follows. This Ekadashi, O Yudhisthira, is called Vamanekadashi, and it bestows upon those who observe it both great merit and ultimate liberation from material bondage. Therefore, because it removes all one's sinful reactions, it is also called Jayanti Ekadashi. Just hearing of its glories frees one from all his past misdeeds. So auspicious is this fast that observing it bestows the same merit as that earned by performing a horse sacrifice. There is no better Ekadashi than this, because it awards liberation so easily. Thus, if one truly desires freedom from the punishing material world, one should fast on Vamana Ekadashi. While observing this holy fast, a Vaishnav should lovingly worship the Supreme Lord in his form as Vamandev, the dwarf incarnation, whose eyes are like lotus petals. By doing so, he worships all other deities as well, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and at death, he undoubtedly goes to that abode of Sri Hari. In all the three worlds, there is no fast that is more important to observe. The reason this Ekadashi is so auspicious is that it celebrates the day when the sleeping Lord Vishnu turns over on his other side. Thus it is also known as Parivartini Ekadashi. Maharaj Yudhishthira then asked of the Lord, "O Janardhan, please clear up a question I have. How is it that the Supreme Lord sleeps and then turns over on his side? O Lord, when you are asleep, what happens to all the other living entities? Please also tell me how you bound the king of the demons, Bali Daityaraj, Bali Maharaj, as well as how one may please the Brahmanas. How does one observe Chaturmasya, which you mentioned in the Chaturmasya Mahatmya of the Bhavishya Purana? Kindly be merciful to me and answer these questions." The Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna replied, "O Yudhisthira, Lion among kings, I will gladly narrate to you an historical event that simply by hearing eradicates all one's sinful reactions. In the Treta Yuga, there once was a king of the name Bali. Though born in a family dynasty of demons, Daityas, he was very devoted to me. He sang many Vedic hymns to me and performed the Homa rituals, fire sacrifices, just to satisfy me. He respected the twice-born Brahmins and engaged them in performing sacrifices daily. This great soul had a quarrel with Indra, however, and eventually defeated him in battle. Bali took over his entire celestial kingdom, which I myself had given to Indra. Therefore, Indra and all the other devas, demigods, along with many great sages, approached me and complained about Bali Maharaj. Bowing their heads to the ground and offering many sacred prayers from the Vedas, they worshipped me along with their spiritual master Brihaspati. Thus, I agreed to appear on their behalf as a dwarf, Vamandev, my fifth incarnation. King Yudhishthira further inquired, "O Lord, how is it possible for you to conquer such a powerful demon, and only by coming in the form of a dwarf Brahmin? Please explain this clearly, for I am your faithful devotee." The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna replied, "Though a dwarf, I was a Brahmin, and I approached that pious King Bali to ask him for alms in the form of land. I said, 'O Daityaraj Bali, please give me just 3 steps of land in charity. Such a small piece of land will be good as all the 3 worlds for me.' Bali agreed to grant my request without lengthy consideration, but as soon as he vowed to give me the land, my body began to expand into a gigantic transcendental form. I covered the entire earth with my feet, all the Bhuvarloka with my thighs, the Swarg heavens with my waist, Maharloka with my stomach, Janaloka with my chest, Tapaloka with my neck, and Satyaloka with my head and face. I covered the entire material creation. Indeed, all the planets of the universe, including the sun and the moon, were encompassed by my gigantic form. Seeing this astonishing pastime of mine, all the demigods, including Indra and Shesha, the king of the snakes, began to sing Vedic hymns and offered prayers to me. Then I took Bali by the hand and said to him, 'O sinless one, I have covered the whole earth with 1 step, and all the heavenly planets with the 2nd. Now, Where shall I place my foot to measure the third step of land you promised me?" Upon hearing this, Bali Maharaj bowed down in humility and offered me his head to place my third step. O Yudhishthir, I placed my foot on his head and sent him all the way to Patalaloka. Seeing him thus humbled, I became very pleased and told Bali that henceforth I would permanently reside in his palace. Thereafter, on Parivartini Ekadashi, which occurs during the light part of the month of Bhadra, August-September, Bali, the son of Virochan, grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, installed a deity form of me in his residence. O king, until Haribodhini Ekadashi, which occurs during the light part of the month of Kartik, I continue to sleep in the ocean of milk. The merit one accumulates during this period is particularly powerful. One should therefore observe Parivartini Ekadashi carefully. Indeed, it is especially purifying, and thus cleanses one of all sinful reactions. On this day, the faithful devotee should worship Lord Trivikram, Vamandev, who is the Supreme Father, because on this day, I turn over to sleep on my other side. If possible, on this day, one should give a qualified person some yogurt mixed with rice, as well as some silver, and then remain awake throughout the night. This simple observance will free one of all material conditioning. One who observes this sacred Parivartini Ekadashi in the way I have described will surely attain all kinds of happiness in this world and the kingdom of God in the hereafter. One who simply hears this narration with devotion will go to the abode of the demigods and shine there like the moon itself. So powerful is observance of this Ekadashi. Indeed, the observance is as powerful as the performance of 1,000 horse sacrifices. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Parivartini Ekadashi, or Vaman Ekadashi, which occurs during the light part of the month of Bhadrapad, from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. So I also love social media during these kinds of festivals because you can kind of take darshan all around the world. And sometimes, even in New Vrindavan, they have their deity of Gopalnathji. And sometimes he dresses up as Vamandev, and he looks very adorable and extremely attractive. And he looks as though he could just steal anyone's heart. And in fact, when Vamandev appeared in the assembly of Bali Maharaj, some say the sister of Bali Maharaj, and some say the niece or daughter of Bali Maharaj, but a female family member named Ratnavali, she saw this wonderful form of this small little boy with lotus eyes and a beautifully effulgent countenance. Everyone was asking, "Who are you? Where did you come from? Whose parents have the great fortune to have you as a son?" Little Vamana answers all of these questions. "I am a brahmachari Brahmin. I come from here, there, everywhere. I am a yatri. I go on yatras. And so the whole world is my home." And they say, "Well, who are your parents?" "Who is everyone's parents? The sun, the moon, the stars in the sky. This is where I gain my family members," which is not untrue. Because as the son of Aditi, the mother of the demigods, really his family members are the sun and the moon and the stars, and the king of heaven himself. So he was telling the truth. Where do you get your effulgence from? It seems as though with each step, Bhumi Devi is praying to you for protection, which is also true. And so I said, "What do you want? I can give you anything." And this wonderful Ratnavali was looking and thinking, such a beautiful boy. He won't even say who his parents are. Maybe he doesn't have parents, because what parents would allow such a tender, youthful, budding child to live such a hard life of asceticism, traveling everywhere, never staying in one place? If he were my son, I would give him everything. And so this young boy says, "I only desire 3 steps of land." Bali Maharaj says, "Oh, young boy, You appear to be a very powerful Brahmin, but you're speaking as though you have less intelligence. Ask for something that you should never have to ask for anyone, from anyone, for anything more at any other time. Ask for something that great from me. I can give you the entire earth in charity. I can give you land. I can give you palaces. I can give you princesses for your wife. I can give you maidservants. I can give you everything that you desire. Vamana says, however, if one is not satisfied by 3 paces of land and what providence has given them, how will they be satisfied by all of the 3 worlds? No, no, no. I only require 3 steps of land, as measured by me. Of course, Bali Maharaj is looking at such a small form. Srimad Bhagavatam states that he's about, 3 cubits tall, which in the modern day calculations, which I did once upon a time, he was about 5'3". So little Bali Maharaj, little Vamana was only 5'3", and that was considered under height. I am only 4'11". So we could see how things have changed in Kali Yuga. And so Vamanadev is now asking for these 3 steps of land as measured by him. Bali Maharaj is looking. He's very, very small feet and very, very small legs. As you wish, Brahman. Of course, his Guru Maharaj, Shukracharya, was not happy with this arrangement. He swoops in. Do not give this Brahmin anything. I think that he might be Vishnu. Bali Maharaj is thinking, how can I tell him no? I already told him yes. The earth says she can bear any heavy thing except a person who is a liar. How can I now refuse this Brahmin? This Brahmin is Vishnu, Shukracharya says. Even if he is Vishnu, Bali Maharaj says, I will not reject him. I must give him everything. Shukracharya is so angry that he then curses his own disciple. I curse you. You will lose everything. Which is exactly what Shukracharya was afraid of in the first place, was that his disciple who had everything was going to lose everything, but now he curses him. You will lose everything. Bali Maharaj takes this curse upon his head. And then he gratefully goes to Vamandev. O Brahman, please accept all that I have promised to you. And with a sacred bond and the sharing of sacred water, Bali Maharaj fulfills his promise to Vamandev. Vamandev immediately begins to grow, and all of the demons are appalled because they feel as though now they have been cheated once again by Vishnu. This is a problem. Ever since time immemorial, these demons have been facing this problem that Vishnu swoops in and immediately steals everything that they have. He doesn't even come to fight them honestly. Now it's by hook or by crook, and literally he's thieving from them, cheating them, stealing from them. As Vamana is growing and taking all of his steps, the demons begin to engage in a battle. Garuda appears on the scene. So many things are happening, and finally Bali Maharaj says, stop! It is very clear to me that we cannot defeat the demigods at this time. We should not engage in battle with them. Instead, we should take what Providence has given us. And if it is the will of Providence that we lose everything, then we should abide by that will. The demons are not at all very happy to hear about this. They are powerless to act against their king, but they are very upset. And within the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that Vamanadev now shouts to Bali Maharaj, you are a liar. You have promised me 3 steps of land, but I have covered the entire creation in 2. And then he calls to Garuda. Garuda, arrest this lying king, Bali Maharaj. They take snake ropes of Varuna and they tie up Bali Maharaj, and then Bali Maharaj is kind of held in limbo between worlds. His wife is praying for his release. Everyone in his family is praying for his release. And Ratnavali, the same family member of Bali Maharaj who sees that she wanted a son like Vamana, now sees that they've been cheated, and she thinks, I'm so angry I could kill him. How does Bali Maharaj get freed? On the scene, and in a fulgent form, arrives the grandfather of Bali Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. And as Prahlad Maharaj arrives on the scene, all that Bali Maharaj can do is hang his head in shame. He has no free arms with which to offer his pranams to his grandfather. He cannot offer him any articles of worship, bound as he is. All he can do is hang his head and hide his face in shame, thinking, what have I done? Prahlad Maharaj offers beautiful prayers to Vamandev. And then Vamandev says, Bali Maharaj, actually, this was a test to see how you would react, even after fulfilling all of your promises. Then seeing if the Lord of the universe was not pleased with you, how do you react? Vamandev says, you have pleased me. And therefore, I give you your own planet in the lower planetary systems called Sutala. This planetary system, this planet, will be even more beautiful than the heavenly planets of Swargaloka. It will be even greater than Indra's kingdom. It will be personally protected by me. I will stay with you. And if any of the demigods even think to look upon your planet with envy or jealousy, they will have to personally deal with me, and I will eradicate any obstacles that stand in your way. Oh, Bali Maharaj, you are so dear to me. How could I ever reside anywhere else? And so, Vamandev decides to be the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. And so Prahlad Maharaj also often goes to stay with Bali Maharaj on Sutala because he wants to be near to his Supreme Lord. Ratnavali, however, what happens to her? Well, in Dwapar Yuga, there's a demoness named Putana. This was the previous family member of Bali Maharaj, who decided, I wish I could have this same effulgent personality as my son. And so we see that Putana takes Krishna on her lap and begins to nurse him with her own milk. Krishna then accepts Putana as a mother. But then, of course, she desired, I'm so angry with this cheater, I could kill him. Krishna says, so be it, you can try. And so we all know that Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj are mind blown, to use common vernacular, by Shri Krishna's treatment of Putana. Putana, who he accepted as a mother, and who he even accepted knowing that she had come to try and kill him. This was the greatness of Putana and Krishna's mercy upon Putana. Shukadev Goswami speaks, who can estimate the glory of a Supreme Lord who gave such mercy to a person like Putana? If he gave such mercy to a person like Putana, what is to speak of the mercy that he will give to those who simply love him with all their hearts? This is the glory and the interconnected pastimes of our wonderful Shri Krishna. These pastimes are happening forever, always, and Shri Krishna also fulfills all desires, even if those desires seem contradictory to one another. Somehow or other, the Lord is able to reconcile all of the contradictory natures of all desires and fulfill them all. And he does it while not even holding on to a tinge of anger. He does it not thinking, oh, this devotee is now my enemy. Even when he fights with devotees and he has some desire to fight, he does not hold on to the anger. We can even see in the great form of Lord Nrsimhadev. He was so angry. But then once he lets go of that anger, he can see that Prahlad Maharaj has such respect for his father, such love for his father. And then he even looks at me as a father figure. And then Lord Nrsimhadev begins to question, well, where is my father? He looks at the pillar. He thinks, no, this won't do. I can't share loving relationships and such respect with a pillar. From this point on, my incarnations must have parents. And this is the transcendental greed of Lord Vishnu, as given by our Shastras and our Acharyas and our teachers. So this is the Ekadashi, where the Lord turns over, where every occurrence within the pastimes of the Lord is worthy of celebration. So he turns over halfway through Chaturmasya, and we have a celebration. but we also celebrate the great king Bali Daityaraj. And then we also celebrate him again during Govardhan Puja. Anyone looks at the Gaudiya Vaishnav calendar, there's Govardhan Puja, but then there's also Bali Daityaraj Puja. And from the pages of Hari Bhakti Vilas, Srila Sanatan Goswami states that in the evening, one should gather together with their family members. They should draw a beautiful picture of Bali Maharaj and his beautiful wife. And then they should worship them as great Vaishnavas. They should draw Bali Maharaj in a very handsome form with lotus petal eyes, and they should worship Bali Maharaj and Vamandev in the evening part of the festival of Govardhan Puja. And so during Kartik, we see that we are worshiping many, many Vaishnavas, and it gives us such great auspiciousness. It gives us such spiritual power in our lives. And so on this beautiful, beautiful Ekadashi, I am yearning to increase my prayers, increase my hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhadra Purnima is coming. And that is the day when we honor Srimad Bhagavatam, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Skanda Purana speaks so many glories of the Bhagavatam. Just by seeing Bhagavatam in the morning, it says that the Supreme Lord is now pleased to see us. So, if you have Srimad Bhagavatam, we've already spoken about Srimad Bhagavatam, just think of Srimad Bhagavatam in your mind and be happy to have this darshan, even through the ears of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then know that in just a few minutes the Lord will be happy to see us. When the Lord gives his darshan, he's also glancing upon us. And so we want to somehow make ourselves presentable in a way that pleases Krishna. And that is easy. Simply by glancing at Tulsi Maharani in the morning, simply by glancing upon Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, the Lord becomes joyful. My devotee has come. I am so happy to see my devotee. This is the same way that the Lord thinks about Bali Maharaj, thinks about devotees like Sudama. So, again, as always, I encourage everybody to pick up the book of Krishna book, which is the summary study of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So you're still within Srimad Bhagavatam. Read this Krishna book, cherish the many pastimes that are there. And also, go and read the story of Vamandev from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Revel in that wonderful, miraculous pastime of the Lord willing to take any disguise, and how he takes such forms that captivate the mind and the hearts of everyone. Demigods, demons, doesn't matter. Everyone is captivated by the wonderful form of Vamandev. And then look out for the wonderful, beautiful darshans that will happen all over the world. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ekadashi Titi ki jai, Shri Vamandev Bhagavan ki jai, Bali Daityaraj Vaishnav Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Acyuta Gopi Devidasi ki jai. Wonderful narration of the pastime. Thank you, Acyuta Gopi. Let's open the gate of comments and questions. Vima Prabhu, are you offering Adipusha Prabhu some yogurt and staying up all night to honor the Ekadashi? Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Ekadasi. I do nerd gel. I do nerd gel and call it a year.
Okay. Adipusha Prabhu, please.
Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you for your exquisite, delightful, blissful description. You were recommending that everyone open the Bhagavatam and read this pastime that Srila Prabhupada has very nicely gifted to us. And interestingly enough, Srila Prabhupada also empowered devotee artists to compose and evoke the form of Lord Vamandev in a picture. And that picture in the Bhagavatam of Vamandev is just, so if you're reading the Bhagavatam, look at the picture. The pictures really saved me because when I first came, I couldn't read very well. But one time we went to we were driving through Virginia and we saw this sign, Yogaville. So we drove in there, and beautiful community, wonderful landscaped gardens and everything. And then we went and we met some of the yoginis and yogis there, and they brought us into their temple room. I told you this story right before, Ananda Vihari. We went in the temple room, and they have a beautiful temple room and an altar. And what's on the altar? Who can tell me?
Jack Daniels.
Nothing. It's just a light shining down in this empty altar, right? So I opened up the Bhagavatam, and there was the picture of Vamandev. Gorgeous dwarf brahmachari, dressed very nicely, super beautiful. And all these, we had like 4 or 5 yogis and yoginis around, and they just poured around me like a football huddle, and they were all looking at the picture of Vamandev. Oh, the form, the color, the smile, they would just couldn't, they would just drink, because on their altar they have nothing, no form, no picture, no deity. And there was, oh, this is so beautiful. I said, yeah, he's so beautiful. That's Krishna. That's Vamandev. Krishna's appearing like that. So the Mayavad conception of like, meditate on the void or meditate on nothing or meditate on an empty altar is kind of like dry. It's at least they're not looking at garbage, but they're still not looking at Krishna. So one of those yogis, he came to visit our little preaching center in Philadelphia, and he was wearing this like, $500, $700 Brooks Brothers suit, 3-piece suit. And he came in and we spoke to him for a little while, received him, and then we gave him a little prasadam. We had some khichdi from that was left over. So he was eating the khichdi. And then I noticed when he was leaving, he didn't see me, but he reached into the khichdi pot with his bare hand and was taking the khichdi and putting it in his pocket of this very expensive suit. Because what they eat is like carrots and, celery and raw fruit and stuff, but the prasadam, which is offered to Krishna, goes somewhere beyond that in terms of the spectrum of taste. And it was so funny to see this man sneakingly reaching into the pot of khichdi with his bare hand and putting the khichdi in the pocket of his expensive suit. He was trying to take some prasadam home with him. So they were so glad to see the form of Vamandev. And please take a look in the Bhagavatam at that picture, because Prabhupada empowered the devotees to evoke the presence of the Lord. It looks like
Ad-
about there wiggling the curtains. Curtains about to open.
Adipusha Prabhu, can you tell one more story? You
Right.
mentioned briefly how you posed for one of the pictures in Srila Prabhupada's books. Was it Vamandev pastime that you posed for as a model?
In the Bhagavatam, there's a picture of a devotee saying, they lament not for the living or the dead. And there's a guy laying on the ground, and there's a devotee walking by. So I posed for the guy laying on the ground, dead man.
Okay, we should look that up and find it and recover that picture and post it everywhere.
Anyway, whatever we do in Krishna service is wonderful. Here's the deity, Radha.
Thank you. Thank you, Acyuta Gopi Devidasi, one more time. Thanks, everyone. Let's turn on our cameras for the darshan to be seen by the Lord.
Govinda, Hari Krishna,
Arjuna Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we are going to proceed with the afterglow. Acyuta Gopi, you have a few minutes to stay over time? Yes, thank you. Okay, please, dear devotees, ask a question, share a reflection.
My gosh, I have so many things to say there.
Look, Anandi is unmuted.
But
Oh,
Adipurush Prabhu, before you begin, he was
Okay,
talking
okay.
about this Yogaville. And in yoga, there is a pose called Trivikramasana, which is there's 1 foot down and then there's 1 foot held straight up, like Vamandev. And so this yoga pose is actually modeled after the wonderful incarnation of Vamandev. And so I think it's so wonderful that we can find Krishna anywhere, even when others think that he's not present. And it's very, very interesting that Adipurush Prabhu was speaking about the hunger for Mahaprasad, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says famously to impersonalists that you could be drinking the nectar of the Bhagavatam, which is like the most juicy, tasty, wonderful, robust Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. But instead, you are taking in the dry rice cake, flavorless, tasteless, impersonalist philosophy. And so he was giving a very vivid, incredible example of the very difference between when we have the form to feast upon and to zero our minds in upon, and when we don't have anything to have tunnel vision upon. And so I feel like the purpose of the mind is we're going to have tunnel vision at some point. Better that Krishna is at the end of that tunnel than the things that we can't see, that don't give us such wonderful comfort and solace. And then also the hanging ropes of Murlidhar were actually my favorite part of that darshan, because they were so incredibly bright red. And within the commentaries of Bhagavatam, it says there is a special ornament worn by Sri Krishna, which acts as a great impetus for the gopis' love and submerges them in the waves of his remembrance. It is known as the Nir Yoga Pash. Srila Prabhupada states that Krishna and Balaram carry this rope on their shoulders and in their hands, even sometimes on their hips, like ordinary cowherd boys. Its purpose is to bind the hind legs of the cows at the time of milking. The special attractiveness of these ropes manifests as a consequence of the human-like behavior of Krishna and Balaram, who are in truth the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like all cowherd boys, they were also obliged to carry such ropes to bind the legs of the cows or their restless calves during the time of milking. But their ropes are not ordinary. The Nir Yoga Pash of Krishna Balaram are made of yellow cloth, or sometimes others, and have a decorative cluster of pearls at both ends, which gives them a special beauty, Sandurya Vishesh. Taking these ropes, the boys bind them in their turbans and create an extraordinary ornament which bewilders the minds of the gopis and indeed the minds of all living entities. There is great jubilation in the minds of everyone as they behold the wonderful dress of Sri Krishna, Adbhuta Rama Vesh, which has reached the summit of wonder in the presence of the binding ropes, Nir Yoga Pash. The physical characteristics of the rope are but a fraction of its beauty, for the Nir Yoga Pash is a sign of Sri Krishna's ultimate pastime, his binding his devotees with the ropes of love. The Nir Yoga Pash is the insignia of Krishna's intent for all living entities, moving or non-moving, conditioned or liberated. As he ties up the cows to take their milk, Sri Krishna desires to tie down his devotees with his love. As he milks the cows, Sri Krishna desires to extract the loving devotion of his bhaktas. And as the milk is the staple of the cowherd community, Prema Bhakti is the only means of sustenance for Rasika Shekhar, the insatiable connoisseur of loving exchanges. The word Nir Yoga means to tie tightly. When the gopis and creatures of Braj see this rope, they understand Sri Krishna's desire to be always engaged in intense loving pastimes. When it is tightly wound on his turban, It indicates that he has achieved success in firmly binding a devotee to his heart. When the rope is in his hand or loosely draped on his shoulder, or in the case of Sri Muladhar this morning, hanging from his hip, it is understood that he is hunting for some fortunate soul upon whom he will throw his noose of love and entice him into its wonderful network. When they see Krishna's intent by the use of his Niryoga Pash, the living entities of Braj experience manifestations of love, like falling unconscious, crying, trembling, and horripilation. So this is what I was thinking of when I was taking in that darshan and drinking in the ropes of Krishna, which are now hanging from his hip, which means he's on the hunt. And so oftentimes the gopis of Braj will see the rope hanging and think, who is he looking for? Will it be me? Who is he yearning for? And when they see the rope tied in his turban, they think, oh, what fortunate soul has been bound up by Krishna today. So now we are in the act of seeing pastimes as they're happening. So now we can wonder, who is it that Krishna is looking for? Who will he tie up mercifully with his ropes of love?
It'll be Anandi. Anandi, go ahead.
So beautiful, Acyuta Gopi. And I just wanted to remind everybody that we can dedicate the merits of our fasting to you and to your dad, just as you have helped us on so many occasions to stick to EKADASI. And I also wanted to request that you expand your EKADASI explanations on occasions like how do you say it? Janamastami, Radhastami, because I don't always, I mean, like I fasted for half a day and then I forgot and didn't have Ekadashi Prasadam. So, I mean, the merits earned so easily, so vast. So do you mind expanding on those, Vishnu holidays when we're supposed to fast? And I truly humbly want everybody to dedicate their merits of this fast to you and your dad tomorrow. And we love you.
Thank you. Yes, first of all, please. Tomorrow is my father's birthday,
Oh,
and
Haridev Prabhu Ki Jai.
he'll be 80, and he's
wow.
struggling with some rough health issues, 2 types of cancer right now. But we are actively trying to surrender to the will of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, and Sri Sri Radha Govinda, really understanding that they have always and will always make the best arrangements for us as a family. But I would not be the kind of devotee I am were it not for my father. His strength and conviction in Krishna consciousness has saved all of our lives, really, in so many different ways. And he's often stuck up for so many other devotees. He had he still has a very strong Kshatriya nature. And my mom, when she sees it come out in me, she always says, "You're your father's daughter." And so without my parents, I can actively say I would not be the person I am. And I don't know where I would be without them constantly praying for me, without my father coming and singing to me every night when I was in NICU, and my mother reading Srimad Bhagavatam every night when I was in NICU, with the utmost devotion and the utmost surrender and conviction that Srimad Bhagavatam can change everything, that the holy name can make any and all kinds of miracles. So prayer is our greatest wealth. So yes, please, everyone can dedicate prayers, extra japa, extra glances at Tulsi Maharani. Jayapataka Maharaj is of the firm faith and belief that these things make such a big difference. And as for other fasting days, it actually, the wonderful thing about Krishna is he's so loving, so compassionate, and so flexible. He was flexible even to Bhima. And Bhimasen, the OG, he had difficulty in fasting. He says, "My Lord, I can't do all of these things. Can you just give me one day?" And the Lord doesn't say, "No, you're done for." The Lord says, "No problem. I'll give you one day and I'll even name it after you. So from here on out, everyone will know that this is my mercy upon my beloved devotees." And so when it comes to fasting days, once you reach a certain age, you're actually not supposed to fast. Not completely anyway. So you can do half-day fasts, and it is as far as you are able. I was reading through the Sri Radha Sahasranam on Radhashtami, and this was spoken by Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, many, many times throughout that entire prayer of the 1,000 names of Srimati Radharani, says that he follows this vow and chants these names as far as he is able. So if a great Vaishnav Thakur like Lord Shiva says, "As far as I am able," and so many of the Ekadashi stories say, "to the best of your ability," then that is what we are banking on, the mercy of Krishna, as far as we are able and to the best of our ability. But the older you get, the less you're supposed to do these things. Because what is more important is trying to keep your body together for the sake of devotional service. Even we see Sanatana Goswami was doing Govardhan Parikrama every day. And finally, the Supreme Lord comes to me and says, "You're old, Goswami. You shouldn't do this anymore." Sanatana Goswami says, "But I have to because I cannot live without this kind of austerity." The Lord says, "Fine, I will change it for you." And he's standing on a wonderful rock of Govardhan, and the stone melts with Krishna's love. And so within that stone is seen the footprint of Shri Krishna, the marking of his walking stick, and the marking of the footprint of a calf. And this wonderful Shila is held forever within the Radha Damodar Mandir in Shri Vrindavan Dham, the worshipable deities of Srila Jiva Goswami. And so the Lord tells Sanatana Goswami, "You just circumambulate this Shila 4 times, and that will be equal to 1 Govardhan Parikrama." So the Lord is constantly making arrangements for all of us. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Haridas Thakur crying, "Haridas Thakur, what is your ailment?" Haridas Thakur says, "My ailment is that I cannot finish my prescribed number of rounds each day." Of course, we know he was chanting 300,000 names, which is equal to somewhere around 192 rounds. Hours and hours upon hours of every day he was just chanting. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You're an old man now. You don't need to do this. You've already satisfied every and any requirement. You don't need to do this. I personally excuse you." But Haridas Thakur said, "I don't excuse myself. You may excuse me, but I can't excuse myself." So as we get older in age, we should know that the Lord is simply running after you, saying, "But you don't have to hold yourself to such stringent rules and regulations anymore. You've given your entire life to me. Don't you see that I will carry the rest because I promised to carry what you lack and preserve what you have? I must." So my request at the lotus feet of all of you Vaishnavas is that you take it easy on yourselves. Srila Prabhupada did not want us to be hard on ourselves. And so we see Srila Prabhupada himself was constantly making concessions for all of us. Because the wonderful aim of this Krishna consciousness is that Krishna's not hard on you. He already remembers thousands and thousands upon births we've taken. If Krishna desired that he should be hard on us, then he would not have arranged for days like Ekadashi, where simply by hearing the glories, you've performed hundreds upon thousands of pious merits. So, I think simply by remembering these wonderful days like Janmashtami and Radhashtami, you are performing Tapasya Anandi. So please don't be so hard on yourself. And don't think that Krishna will also conversely be so hard on you.
Does that mean I can get out of doing the dishes for the big meal I just had?
No.
So I have to do the dishes?
Yeah.
There's one law that's higher than Krishna's law, and that's the spouse's law.
Yeah,
That's the
right.
White's Law.
Okay, because that's Vaishnav Seva. So
Ah, there you go.
somehow you can't get free from that.
Well, we love you, Acyuta Gopi. Thank you. And I am 70 years old, so I take that to heart.
Yes, this is not exactly all of the harsh rules and regulations are not meant for you. Especially you've gone through so many bodily challenges. This is
Yes.
not meant to bring you down. You're simple, and simple is relative. Your hearing of Bhagavatam each day, your remembering of Shri Krishna each day is the pinnacle of sadhana. This is the goal, is that we are constantly trying to hear and remember the words of Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam and somehow focus our minds on Krishna. And so there's nobody that can tell me that you are not doing that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Bhima Prabhu, followed by Saurabh Prabhu.
I already made my statement. I tried to get out of doing the dishes, and apparently that's not allowed.
Doesn't
I
matter
was
who you are. You know, Bali Maharaj still had to listen to his wife. Even Lord Shiva says, look, happy wife, happy life.
What's the Sanskrit for that one?
I'm going to find it. We're going to find the Sanskrit.
Okay, you tell us next class.
Saurabh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Lots of love and respects to Sri Acyuta Gopi and everyone on this call. Wanted to share something in my reflections and meditations. I wanted to, I told myself I'd correct myself next time I'm on a call learning from Sri Acyuta Gopi. And we're talking about the A game and bringing the A game. And I had a reflection that Sri Acyuta Gopi, um, your excellence is so far, far, far above and beyond the A game. So I wanted to correct myself, and you share all of your knowledge with so much humility, and it's very inspiring. I've grown up, listening on my spiritual journey for a long time, and I don't know. They say point the fingers at me, so maybe it's me, but I've just noticed like when everyone has a lot of gyan and knowledge, sometimes I sense a sense of ego, right? And with Sri Chita Gopi and all of my fellow classmates, but I don't sense one sense of ego, and you share all your knowledge, and you give us so much hope, and you say things like you don't need a lot of faith, you just need about that much faith, that much faith. And so you're so inspiring in that sense um, to give us hope. And I wanted to correct myself that your excellence is so far above and beyond the A game. And so, and I do have a prayer. I do have a prayer that I've had, and so listen. I do not like attention whatsoever. This is coming from a capacity of I lost my father when I was only 20 or 21. And I grew up in a family where we didn't tell each other, you showed love by saying, do your homework or do this. And then, so you didn't tell each other that you have a lot of love and respect because you're thinking, hey, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to work, and then I'm going to be able to take care of my dad and my family, right? And then all of a sudden, you don't have that tomorrow to express your love and respect. So every time and I'm learning from Ananda Bihari and everyone on my class, it's like I start with saying lots of love and respect because I've gone through that where, hey, tomorrow you don't have the opportunity to show your love and respect. And so in that capacity, I had a prayer. I wasn't going to share it because I'm thinking I have 2 years and I need to listen more than say things. So I wanted to, if it's okay with you guys, share a prayer. And then this can be offered to your father's good health. And I think there's a little bit of something for everyone in this. Just if it's okay with your permission, 2 minutes. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 4 4 2 4 2 4 2 1. Why don't we all try to have some fun? Look at the sun, bring some light into this one. Look at the sun, bring some bhakti magic into this one. Look at the sun, let's walk in the grace of Govinda in this one. Look at the sun, let's send some eternally earned and deserved flowers to Sri Acyuta Gopi on this one. Look at the sun. Bring some light into this one. Put down the ego. Put down the gun. Show some love so no one's got to run. Stay right here. Listen to the beat. Stay right here. Listen to the Bhakti Center beat. Stay right here. Listen to the morning Bhagavatam class Sangha beat. Stay right here. Listen to the Krishna love beat. Stay right here. Stay right here. Stay right here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Jayo Jayo Radhe Jayo Jayo Sham. Jayo Jayo Radhe, Jayo Jayo Radhe, Jayo 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 Radhe, Jayo Jayo Radhe, Jayo Jayo Sham, Jayo Jayo Shri Vrindavanidam, Jayo Jayo Radhe, Jayo Jayo Sham, Jayo Jayo Shri Acyuta Gopika Nam, Jayo 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 Jayo. Jayo 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 Radhe Jayo Jayo Sham Jayo Jayo Shri Vrindavanidam Jayo Jayo Radhe Jayo Jayo Sham Jayo Jayo Shri Acyuta Gopika Nam Jayo 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 Gora 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 Chandra Gora Chandra Gora 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 Nitai Gora Nitai Gora 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 Jayo 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 Srila Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev Gurudev Gurudev, Gurudev, Jayo Jayo Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Haribol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lots of love, devotion, and respects to all of you and Sri Acyuta Gopi. You actually do live in my heart along with Sri Krishna and Sri Radharani. Something tells me that you are so, so very, very close and dear to Sri Krishna and Sri Radharani. And so maybe that's why you're so close to me. In my heart, I consider you a mentor, my Guru Devi, my best friend. Anything you want to give it, it's unconditional, and it's love, devotion, and respect in the sense where your happiness is more important than my happiness. Your well-being is more important than my well-being. Your good health is more important than my good health. And that goes for all of my fellow classmates. And again, I'm sharing it from a capacity as we only have today to share our love and respects for others. And I can't explain this. I don't know why I have this love for Sri Acyuta Gopi. Something tells me that she's gone through so many sacrifices she's given to be closer to Sri Krishna and Sri Radharani, and so many trials and tribulations, and her love for Sri Krishna and Sri Radharani has remained steadfast. Listen to your lectures. I didn't know who Nittai was. I didn't know who Gaurachandra was. Long before I came on the Bhagavatam class, I was watching one of the Ekadasi lessons, and who's Nitai? Sri Acyuta Gopi is talking about Nitai, Gaurachandra. So I pick up the book, I read, and right now Nitai and Gaurachandra live in my heart. I have a whole different sense of love and respect for Srila Prabhupada that I never had going to the mandir, growing up from probably when I was 2, 3, 4 years old. And I see Srila Prabhupada, but that love and affection, it's through your association, all of your association that I'm building and appreciating. And I value diversity, and I've grown up going to the mandir for so long, and I was seeking this diversity. And in this morning Bhagavatam class, that yearning has been fulfilled, and I learn from all of you every day. Sri Acyuta Gopi, thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots of love, devotion, respects to all of you. And sorry to take up so much of your time. From now on, I'm using my 2 years and talking less. Haribol.
Thank you, Sarah Prabhu. Acyuta Gopi Prabhu, would you like to react to that? I don't know. what to say. It was
Yeah,
Yes,
sometimes when I hear it, I understand the inner commentaries of the 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 second offense of not considering the names of the demigods like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva to be equal to or independent of the holy name of the Supreme Lord. And only because the way it was explained to me, especially by Srila Govinda Maharaj and others, was that keeping them on the same level can make them incredibly uncomfortable. And so I used to think, really, but Lord Shiva is so incredible, so amazing. And then I felt like today, Lord Shiva was like, "You want to know what that's like? I'll give you just a shadow of an effulgence." So I like Bali Maharaj. All I can do is hang my head in front of all of my elders, in front of this glorious first generation of Srila Prabhupada disciples who have pioneered Krishna consciousness, and in front of my own Guru Maharaj and all of those who carry Guru Tattva and Lord Nityananda Prabhu's Tattva. And I was just listening to Krishna book yesterday, and in the second chapter of Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada speaks about Balaram and Lord Nityananda and Guru Tattva and how important it is. And so I bow my head in front of all of my wonderful gurus, my parents included first and foremost. And just the same way as Dhruva Maharaj was very, very adamant at the end of his life, Vaikuntha Dutas were there ready to take him to his own planet, to the spiritual world. And he said, "Wait, I can't go without my mother." And lo and behold, his mother already had her own wonderful chariot being escorted. I feel as though our job as Vaishnavas is to somehow or other perfect our lives a little bit. And then when we are somehow or other getting onto a chariot at this promised day, when the Lord says, "Now you come and you stay with me," and then we can say, wait, I can't go without my friends. I can't go without my family. I can't go without all my beloved ones. And the Lord will allow us to see that they already have their wonderful chariots, because the one thing that supersedes Krishna's mercy is the mercy of the devotees. And so Krishna says, I'm bound by the mercy of the devotees. And wherever my devotees have given their mercy, Krishna says, I have to go, I have to run to that place and give my mercy. So it is my prayer that Krishna's mercy follows the mercy of all of you. True beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And so if you're seeing good qualities in me, what you're seeing is just somehow or other the effulgence of my spiritual master's mercy, the effulgence of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and you're actively seeing the prayers of my parents over 40 years of praying that somehow or other us kids just take Krishna consciousness into our hearts and live it with the utmost conviction and faith.
Thank you very much, Acyuta Gopi. Nityananda Chandra Prabhu is providing us Sanskrit to happy wife, happy life. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Adhe Natmano, the wife is the better half. And the whole verse is this, goes like this. O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called the better half of a man's body because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety and trusting all responsibilities to his wife. You heard this, Chinmaya Radha? From now on, all responsibilities are on you. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Okay, Acyuta Gopi, final words for us, please, and we'll wrap it up.
Sure. We can think about Vamandev, who actually does get married, and he has his own wife. And you find out about her in the pages of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So, while usually I am a person to just give all the things, I kind of want to just leave that to like whet the appetite. So that you go to the pages of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Srila Sanatana Goswami, and you can read about Vamandev's wife. Because somehow or other, every incarnation of the Supreme Lord, they have their wonderful divine consorts and counterholes. Instead of counterparts, they're all counterholes. And even the holy name, you hear it secretly kind of mentioned within the Shikshastakam. And so we have Vidya Vadu Jivanam. And so the holy name is described as the life of Vidya Vadu, which is Vidya. So knowledge is the wife of the holy name. And so where Harinam goes, Vidya also has to go because that's considered his wife. And so Vidya Vadu is like the daughter-in-law of the family, the Vadu. And so Vidya Vadu Jivanam. So the holy name is even described as the very life of Vidya Vadu. And so I think it's very interesting that there could be commentaries upon commentaries, and each line of anything to do with Krishna could be dissected 100 times over and mined for more and more sweetness. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said that there are jewels within Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada left everything in his books, Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Bhagavad Gita. But he said many, many things he left in seed form because we are supposed to go and excavate and find out more. We are supposed to dive in deep. He said, so it's like the ocean. There are jewels at the bottom of the ocean, but you can't get them on the surface. On the surface, all you get is salt and seashells. But if you dive deep enough, you'll find jewels. And so Srimad Bhagavatam is the same way. If you just stay on the surface, you think that you're missing something. But the moment that you have a desire to dive deeply into Srimad Bhagavatam, every line can be dissected and mined for sweetness. And Lord Shiva, even before swallowing the ocean, he had to ask his wife for permission. So happy wife, happy life.
Thank you, Acyuta Gopi, for tying everything in so nicely.
Jai Ram.
Yeah. Okay. Hemangi, would you like to unmute yourself and recite the Maha Mantra? Hemangi Devi. There she is.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for yet another beautiful class. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Bol.
Sweet. The yagya is over. Thank you very much. Happy Ekadashi. Thank you for your association. Come again to